how I travel hacked to see Taylor Swift and didn't pay for any travel expenses. Of course, I still had to pay for the ticket to go to the concert. Unfortunately, there isn't a credit card for that. But the question became, how can I afford to do this? And how can I travel hack so that I don't really have to pay for that much? Here's how I did it. The first thing you want to do if you want to travel hack, period, or if you want to go see Taylor Swift or a concert abroad, is you're gonna want to plan ahead, very ahead, possibly a year in advance. And here's why. Planning a year in advance can actually save you like thousands of dollars when you are going to travel abroad, especially if you're traveling from the US or to and from the US, because of how expensive that flight is by itself. And I bought my Taylor Swift tickets in November, and I knew I had until August when she went to LA. So I had that much time to figure out how to travel for free. Okay, so let's go over how you can fly to see Taylor Swift for free. So what is credit card churning or travel hacking via credit card? So this is basically when you sign up for a credit card that has a sign-up bonus, and then you use that sign-up bonus to travel for free. Usually these credit cards have an annual fee, but a lot of times either they're waived for the first year or there's enough benefits that cover the fee so that you don't have to worry about it. In order to get a sign-up bonus, you have to spend a certain amount of money within a certain period of time. So for example, you usually have 3 months to spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. It depends on how big the sign-up bonus is. The bigger the sign-up bonus, the bigger the spend. Is usually how that works. So I've been traveling this way since 2017. When Jake and I first moved abroad, we moved to Bali, and we only paid, I think, $13 for that flight. If you are credit card churning, there's a couple ways you can do it. If you get one that has a big annual fee, the next year you can cancel before the fee hits, or you usually have a grace period of like 30 days after the fee hits to cancel. Or sometimes you can call them up and say, you know, you're still testing the card, and they might waive the fee for another year. Usually I just cancel and then move on to a different credit card for the next time. So you may be wondering, how's my credit? I've credit card churned for 7 years now, and I still have excellent credit. So it has not affected my credit score at all. If anything, it's made it better since I have quite a few credit cards and I always pay on time. The last time I checked, my credit score was 800, so happy with that. One thing you want to keep in mind if you haven't used credit cards before is to use a credit card like it's a debit card and not like it's credit. You want to put things like groceries, gas, things that you already are going to buy. You don't want to put something, I would say you never want to put something on your credit card that you don't have the money in the bank to pay for immediately. So I do not use my credit card as a loan in any way. So I already had money for the Taylor Swift concert already in my bank account before I put it on my credit card, to be clear. So you always want to pay off your credit card in full, not the minimum, every single month in order to keep your credit score high, and also in order to avoid the really high interest fees. That's why credit cards have these big sign-up bonuses, is because a lot of people put big expenses on their credit cards and then can never pay them off, and there's 20-30% interest on there, and that can get you in a lot of trouble. So remember, when you get your credit card, you pay it off in full, not the minimum, every single month. So if you're just starting with credit card churning, there are so many options for you, especially if you have decent credit. If you aren't a frequent traveler, you're gonna want to go for a card that either waives the first year fee, so you don't have to pay a fee at all, or one that's like $100 or less for the fee. One that I used to go to Taylor Swift for free was the Capital One Venture X card. The reason why I chose this card is because I knew that I was flying from France to the US during peak travel season in August. So I knew that the prices were going to be really, really high. So I needed a card that would give me $1,000 plus of credit card rewards so that I could cover the entirety of the ticket. Okay, so with this card, you pay a $395 annual fee, and you have to spend $4,000 in 3 months. So if that sounds like a lot, it is. The good news is that with credit cards, you don't have to be the only one to spend that $4,000. So although I felt like I could cover a lot of my business expenses and our groceries and all of that, I also gave a credit card to my mother-in-law for her to put on her Amazon, to also put her Costco stuff on it, and we hit it pretty quickly with that. So that's called an authorized user. When you sign up for the credit card, you can add authorized users, and they will also get a credit card under your account. Obviously be really careful about who you add as your authorized user, because they will not be penalized or held accountable if they don't pay it off. It's entirely your credit card, you have to pay it off. So I would only do this with someone you really trust. Okay, so let's go over the benefits of this credit card and why the $395 fee was worth it in this case. So every year with this card, you get $300 to spend within the Capital One booking system. They have a little part on their site where you can search for hotels and flights, and that $300 is covered if you book through that. So for example, you can't book on Airbnb, you have to book through Capital One. Since I travel a lot, this sounded really good to me, and it also covered $300 of the fee. So now we only have $95 left. The $95 left, you're also getting the $1,000-ish sign-up bonus in points. So it's in points, but it will be about $1,000. If you're a frequent traveler, another reason why you might want to get this card is because of lounge access. But you also get Priority Pass, which gives you access to lounges all over the world. I do have to say that if you live in the US, a lot of times these are packed. But since I live outside of the US, I get to go to lounges all the time, get free food, free espresso, free alcohol. And it's actually become a highlight of my trips now. We all know that as millennials, I probably won't ever own a house. I hope I will, but probably not. So this tiny bit of like luxury added to my travel makes me feel like I'm moving ahead in life, even though definitely not. Another thing that it comes with is global and TSA pre-check. So that usually costs about $100. You sign up, get it done, and they reimburse that. So with all of that together, the entire fee is covered, in my opinion. If you don't have any interest in lounge access or in the global pre-check, there is another Capital One card that has a $99 fee, and that's the one you would want to get instead. I'll have links to all of that in the description. Okay, so as soon as you know you want to travel, as soon as possible, you're gonna want to sign up for the card. You also don't want to just buy the next flight, still want to buy a flight that is affordable. So I knew that I had exactly $1,000 to spend. So if you travel often in the summer, you know that $1,000 could still be a tight budget for August. I knew I was going to have to book in advance as well as watch prices for a couple months. Stipulations were $1,000 and only one layover. Here's how I watch for flight deals in order to book right when the prices are good. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go into Google Flights and set a price alert for the time that you'll be traveling. So since I knew exactly when the concert was going to be, I didn't have too much flexibility either, which is another way that I usually save money on flights. I set my price alert for about a week and watched it from there. Another thing I did is I used Pomelo Travel email alerts, so they will email you whenever there's a big sale, and usually whenever I get an email like that, I book right away. Okay, so here's where we are so far. I got my Taylor Swift tickets in November, then I got my Capital One card, my sign-up bonus as quickly as possible. It took all the way until April to find tickets that were in my price range of $1,000. So the next expense that I wanted covered was my food at the airport, and that was actually covered by the credit card as well because it came with lounge access. So instead of spending $20 to $30 for each meal at the airport plus coffee and all of that, I went to the lounge and got free espresso, free food, and also grabbed a couple snacks to hold me over on the plane. So don't judge me, but a way that I got a little bit more out of the lounges was by taking some bread and meats and cheeses and making a little sandwich and taking that on the plane with me. I'm spending $400 every year to use this card, so I really didn't have any shame taking the food and eating it on the plane. So the last big expense to be able to see Taylor Swift without paying any extra costs was the hotel. So I was going to see Taylor Swift at the SoFi Stadium in LA. And so I knew as soon as I booked the tickets that I needed to book my hotel as soon as possible because the prices were gonna go up for sure as soon as everyone started to get online and book their hotels. So in my case, I used hotel points that I already had. But if you don't have hotel points, this is how you want to get them. So like I said, since you're doing all of this so far in advance, you can do multiple credit card trainings during this time, especially if you have a partner or somebody else who's willing to help you with it. If not, you can get this hotel credit card later on and cover another trip, and then technically you can say that it counts. So what I would do is, if you plan to travel often, you're going to want to have a hotel card and a travel card. That way you have points to use at the ready whenever you need to. So I knew I needed to stay 2 nights in LA. I also wanted to make sure that we were close enough to the stadium that we could Uber and it would be pretty cheap, or walk if we absolutely needed to. I didn't want to rent a car, and that's another way to keep costs down for your trip. Like I said, I didn't have to wait for a sign-up bonus in this case because I already had an IHG card. So my IHG card that I have costs $99 a year, and you get 1 free night every year plus your sign-up bonus. And I had a pretty good sign-up bonus when I signed up. And the best part about IHG is you can book your hotel and cancel up until the day before, 24 hours before, for free. So I didn't have really any hesitation hopping on right away and booking the hotel. Since I already had the IHG card, I wasn't sure if it would cover a hotel that was close to LA. In my case, it worked out. But if it hadn't, I would have signed up for another credit card that had hotels near the venue. But that meant that we had 2 nights for free in LA, as well as the hotel coming with free breakfast. Okay, so altogether we have free flights to LA, free hotels, as well as free food and drink to and from France and the US. So the total cost of my trip from Nice, France to LA to see Taylor Swift, I Ubered to the SoFi Stadium for $10.97. Instead of Ubering home from the concert, we hitched a ride, so that one was free. We did a lunch and a dinner, so on our first night together, so that was $40. We got drinks and snacks and other things to eat at the hotel, which cost us $45. Dinner and drinks at the SoFi Stadium, which obviously the food there is gonna be a lot more expensive. We got there pretty early and we spent most of the day there, and we weren't able to bring much in at all. This was $60, which actually wasn't too bad to feed both of us. The cost of the VIP ticket was $695.90. Okay, so the total cost of all of the things that I paid for myself was $842.87. What would this trip have cost if I didn't travel hack? The cost would have been about $1,000 round trip for the flights from Nice, France to LA, $182 per night for that hotel that I paid for in points, and then plus some food costs at the airport for $60. That would have been about $364 total. My total savings were $1,424. If I didn't travel hack, my total costs would have been $2,266.87. My goal was to spend under $1,000 for the entire trip, including the ticket and everything, and I did that. I obviously could have budgeted even further. We were within 30 minutes walking distance to the concert. I could have eaten dinner outside of the stadium, but because I had saved so much money travel hacking, I didn't have to worry about the little stuff. I have to add as well that I have family in California who are willing to pick me up from the airport, and so we saved on that Uber ride. Okay, so that is how I travel hacked my way to see Taylor Swift. I am going to the Eras Tour again. I'm going to Edinburgh with the same friend plus some other friends, and we got much cheaper tickets. I think it was like $150. I'm not going VIP this time. So that was kind of my 30-year-old birthday present to myself. So don't judge me. So you may be asking, did I find this worth it? Yes, I did. I absolutely loved it. I had one of the best nights of my life. It was amazing, euphoric even, and I would definitely do it again. Which is why I'm going again, but I was worried when I first bought the ticket and all the work that I put in to travel there for free, if it would like build it up too much or if it would seem not worth it in the end, and that was not the case. I had a really good time. Anywhere I want, just not home. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll definitely have all of the links to everything I use, plus some beginner options in case you've never done anything like this before, and some of my blog posts that cover how to do this. So yeah, I spent only about $850 in total, and using credit card points is something I do throughout the years. I save a lot of money by doing that and keeps my travel costs low, so I can keep doing what I love even when I don't make that much money. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more videos about travel and my experience living in France. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye. Bye.